control. During the Paris Olympic Games official weight control, Mr. Driss arrived for the weight control 10 minutes before the deadline and was found to be 400 grams over the allowed weight limit to compete. The IGF firmly upholds the principles of fair play, the Olympic spirit and non-discrimination. We believe that sport should remain a realm of integrity and fairness, free from the influences of international conflicts. Unfortunately, athletes often become victims of broader political disputes which are against the values of sport. But in accordance with the sports organisation rules of the IGF, any athlete who fails to make weight during the official weight control is disqualified from competition. We cannot provide justification for the overweight status of Mr. Driss, but we remain committed to ensuring that all athletes compete under equal and fair conditions. Following the Olympic Games, a full review and investigation of the situation will be conducted and further action will be taken if needed. Which I think is a pretty comprehensive statement at this stage and explains the situation where we find ourselves. And as I say, that has just been published by the IGF. So, yeah, let's come over here. Three gentlemen here.
Hi, it's Mike Keegan from the Daily Mail. This is either for Etienne or for Anne, and it's about the Seine. Given that obviously the weather conditions haven't helped and there's very little that you can do about that, but given that the triathletes have trained for many years for this moment, they've not been given, both the men and the women, the opportunity to do a practice run in there. And now the men will go to bed tonight not knowing when they wake up whether they will be participating in the morning. Would you issue an apology for this?
Well, you know, we have to wait, and we don't do, you know, fiction scenarios. We are very respectful of the athletes, and they are the heart of the Olympic Games. We've done everything we could in relation with the International Federation, but also with the public authorities to achieve the goal of having the swimmable Seine, and it's going to be a fantastic legacy for later. And we're still optimistic that we can hold the competition within the Seine River. We have contingency plan, so we hope that tomorrow morning when they'll wake up, they'll be able to participate, and that's how it stands right now. Well, we wait until tomorrow.
Okay. This gentleman here, yeah.
Oui, bonjour, Pierre Galli de l'AFP, deux questions. La première en français, donc pour Etienne et Anne. L'agence TAS a annoncé hier que
the PAS agency announced yesterday that the acceptance of 4 journalists were withdrawn or was withdrawn. At the same time, the French authorities have said that the accreditations, or rather the journalists, had not been accredited. So can you tell us, have they been accredited or not by the IOC? The second question.
There are reports in the United States in the social media that images of the opening ceremony were withdrawn from the IOC platform like YouTube. Can you confirm that? And is there any reason?
Not the case as far as I know, but yeah, do you want to take the first?
Sur la première question, donc on confirme que certains journalistes...
The first question. Now, you asked if accredited journalists were given a decision a posteriori, and which came back to the accreditation. So, Paris 2024, we apply the decision without being directly involved in the reasons for the decision. Now, I don't have the exact number of journalists who are involved, but certain journalists really did receive this decision.
On the footage, no, we haven't taken any images out, but obviously not for censorship reasons, but obviously there are different rights in different countries, so that also makes a difference. But you should also be aware of not mixing up our official platforms and non-official platforms, because obviously they don't have the rights to show those pictures. But we've cut no pictures for editorial reasons, shall we say? Yeah, gentleman back there.
Hi, I'm Anders Christiansen from VG Norway. There are criticism from time to time because the athletes don't get paid any money for participating in the games on an individual level. I think Global Athletes also mentioned this in a harsh press release the other day, also mentioning how the IOC members get a fair, decent compensation for being here. What's your response to that?
I mean, I don't know if Christoph has anything to add. I mean, yes, there are for the members. Yes, there are per diems, but also remember that they are volunteers, so they give they are available the whole year round, and they work for the Olympic movement the whole year round. As for, I guess you're talking about prize money. We touched on that, and we answered that quite regularly. Prize money has been paid for many years. This is not new. It's paid by normally. In fact, even the president was paid some prize money when he won his team foil in 1976. So it's not a new question. The question is which part of the Olympic movement pays the prize money, and normally it's the National Olympic Committee because they look after the team. That's how it works, and you'll find a large percentage do that. And that is perfectly acceptable. The federations, on the other hand, are more generally involved in the development of the sport and making their sport more widely available, developing the sport. So, of course, a federation can decide that the best way to do that is to pay elite athletes. Other federations would have a different view, that they would want to help all of their athletes and all of their sport. But it's a decision for the federations. But prize money itself, nothing new there. Okay, let's go to Graham.
Thank you. Hi, Graham Dunbar from the AP. One for the IOC side, one for the LOC side. On the Algerian judo team, it's the same team, even the same Israeli athlete, as there was an issue with in Tokyo. But 3 years ago, when they said it was about the politics, the coach and the athlete got 10-year bans from the IJF. So weight issue is a sort of convenient excuse. Are you going to accept that from Algerian NOC? And given that the president of the African group of NOCs, Anoka, is Algerian, and you've just done him a big favour by extending his IOC membership beyond the age limit, could you not expect a little bit better from the Algerian NOC? Whole
series of different issues involved there. But I think the statement by the IGF at this stage, I think there's very little to add. Unfortunately, he's been disqualified because he's overweight. I can't say that there's anything we can do about that, but the IGF has also said, as they did in the past, that they will conduct a full inquiry and take action, as they have in the past, when that becomes available. The last thing we want to do is start taking action on hearsay and suppositions. So we have to wait to find out. There will be a full inquiry, and then we will, if there's necessary, action will be taken.
Is it not worth having a word with the very, very well-connected Algerian NOC member
I imagine
to say, can we just please stop this?
I imagine conversations are being had all the time, but I'm not privy to those conversations. You had a second question, I think.
Yes, from the LOC side, on the village, there's a report, anecdotal and report of athletes or teams trying to source their own food, their own transport. Some issues with the village. I think the Australian team has been concerned about transport connections, possibly to track and field practice venues. Is that just anecdotal? Have you had that feedback? And I think even the issue of athletes wanting more meat in their rations. I mean, I think we can obviously carbon footprint and environment is very important to you. Maybe that's what's got involved there. But on those issues, are you trying to work to sort of help the athletes a bit more on those?
Je vais peut-être répondre en français pour être précis. Nous avons eu au début des opérations
At the beginning of our operations, we had certain concerns with the transport of athletes. That was upstream. That is, we of course had certain reserves on site because we wanted to be able to service the athletes on site and to do so as well as possible. But it's running very smoothly, and we've got 100% good service over the last few days. With regard to certain athletes not wishing to be in the Olympic Village, that's nothing new. And in fact, we of course provide support to those athletes in as pragmatic a manner as possible. As far as food is concerned, of course, we had to make a few changes. We had to adapt, which is quite normal. I said at the beginning of my presentation that we have 700 kilos of eggs and a ton of meat have been the increases that we provided in order to meet the needs of athletes. And the Committee of Athletes has also been involved. We've got a full vision in terms of nutrition, which is designed to provide the products that are necessary, including organic food. But we have adapted everything, and I think it is to the satisfaction of all concerned. I think that we've had discussions with the heads of delegation, and we told you that we put the athletes at the very forefront of our concerns, and we've obviously adapted our services to take into account the needs and the requests made by athletes.
Rob Harris from Sky News at the front. Sorry, here. Hi. We've had reports of telecoms infrastructure being attacked following the sabotage on the railways. Are you seeking any additional security assistance from the authorities to prevent any sabotage reaching Paris, reaching the Games? And then I've just got a second part.
You know, we've been on this from the start, including with the public authorities, whether it's on the telecom front with ANSI, which is the l'Agence Nationale de Sécurité Informatique, or with the various infrastructure, whether it's water, whether it's telecom, whether it's energy, all these areas, whether it's transport. We've tried to anticipate, and we put a setup in place which allows us to react very quickly. And you'll see on the SNCF, following the malicious act of last Friday, full service has been resumed this morning. And in respect with the trains, for instance, the Paris Olympic accredited trains have been secured so that people could operate normally on the various venues. So obviously we are at, on the highest level of alerts as normal during the games, and we're monitoring things very carefully.
And I don't know if this is for you or for Mark, but what is the latest on the death threats against the 3 Israeli athletes and the leaking of personal information, including blood data and gaining credential details? How concerned are you about that? And the police investigation?
I mean, I don't have any update, and unfortunately you'll expect me to say that anything to do with security, really, particularly such sensitive security, I wouldn't comment on. I made some comments about hacking and cyber attacks that we experienced a lot of attempts, particularly ahead of the opening ceremony, but doing a very good job to resist that. But I think in terms of security of people, you wouldn't expect me to say much more. So can you just expand on what you said? No, just that we have, it's not a new thing, unfortunately, but the scale is increasing. We had it in Pyeongchang, we've had it ahead of Tokyo, we had it here, people trying to enter our systems, and we have very robust systems to protect ourselves, which have worked very, very well. Yeah. Oh, you want to add anything, Etienne? No,
Again, I think the systems are resisting very well. We are very well prepared. We got contingency plan. We got teams that are able to fix things when things happen. Again, I come back to the train thing. So far, operations have been able to be delivered smoothly, and we're optimistic that we can keep that until the end of the games. Well, but against the safety of the athlete, every athlete, is as important. important as every other one, as well as every spectators and everybody participating to the games. And I think, again, there's been an unprecedented setup put together with the various public forces, whether it's on intelligence and international intelligence, whether it's on the ground, with, again, a setup that is unprecedented, and we are very concentrated until the end to protect everyone and anyone during those games.
And obviously we remain in touch with the NOCs concerned on a more or less daily basis to hear them. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Bonjour, André Fontinelli, Folha de São Paulo, Brésil. J'aimerais connaître la procédure exacte.
I would like to know the exact procedure tomorrow for the decision concerning the races on the River Seine. When will the quality of the water be measured? Who's going to take that decision? What is the timing of the decision? And I'd like to know if the athletes will be told about the decision once they are on site or before they leave the Olympic Village. I think that the protocol is very clear on that. In fact, this is something that was applied last year when we were doing the testing. The decision will be taken at 4 o'clock in the morning based on samples taken 24 hours in advance, within the framework of a protocol which was agreed with the International Federation, which has the final say. The decision is taken together with the organizer, the IOC, and the International Federation. The decision will be taken at 4 a.m. The delegations will be immediately informed so that the athletes can be notified as quickly as possible.
Et issue dans la foulée de la décision à 4 heures du matin.
And a statement will be made at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, gentleman over there.
Paul Waldy from the Globe and Mail in Canada. Just back to the Seine again. Can you share with us any testing information to tell us just how close you are to meeting the standards, or above, below? I mean, can you give us any sense of what the testing showed?
I will not give you any figure right now. We're still measuring things as we go. We got different points and different measures points throughout the day. We also have a tool that is called a coliminder, which is some kind of a tool that anticipates what is going to be coming, and the coliminder is showing is going down. So that's why we say that we are optimistic for tomorrow. But a statement will be made throughout the day. I think so. I think we have a communication later on today in that respect to give you the trend. We make the call at 4 a.m. Yes.
Okay, we're going to go gentleman here, then we're going to come across to Rachel over there. Thank you.
Hello. Again, Shion Poto for Reuters. A few days ago, we saw a tweet that was actually afterwards taken down by the flag bearer of the Israel delegation, showing bombs that he signed, saying, "From me to you, with pleasure." We have contacted Israeli authorities, the Israel Olympic Committee. We did not get any response. We were just wondering if it's something that the IOC is aware of, and are you looking into it?
What I would say is we are always in constant contact with national Olympic committees, in particular in this case. You know, it's a very sensitive issues. There are lots of claims and counterclaims and accusations and so on and so forth. But we saw both NOCs taking part in the ceremony on Friday, which I think is a great sign. And that is just to remind you of, despite all these difficult questions raised all the time, that our mission is to unite the whole world in sport, which is what we're doing, which is what we've done, it's what people want to see. That doesn't mean to say that we don't look into things and we don't talk to people about these things. We are in constant contact. It's a very delicate situation, as always, not just this one, many other conflicts and so on in the world going on that we have to deal with, and we have to bring different nations together. So for the time being, I would say that let's be pleased with the fact that we managed to unite all of our athletes from the territories of all of our 206 National Olympic Committees in the opening ceremony. We will continue to work to make sure that we can have continuing this kind of peaceful relationship between all parties in the Olympic Games. Rachel, excusez-moi.
Bonjour, merci. Rachel Préti, l'équipe. Je voulais savoir
Russia from the Equipe magazine. Concerning the sequence at the Trocadero, the urban park, as you postponed the Saturday morning session, some of the tickets have been cancelled. They were cancelled yesterday evening. How many people were concerned by this? And has something been done to compensate those who had these tickets? And Etienne, how many tickets were sold? I heard 200,000, but I don't know if I got the figure down correctly.
Sur les billets, on est sur un rythme.
So on the subject of tickets, about 40,000 a day, particularly for football, because there's still the place where the most tickets are available, both on the resale platform and the sale platform. The resale platform already has a waiting list. So 200,000 since the beginning of the games and 40,000 a day. As to the urban festival, as you know, we cancelled the skate activities as a contingency. The skate activities will open today, but we won't have this in the urban park. So we cancelled the tickets and we'll be opening the park again tomorrow. But the people
Tracy Holmes is down here, and then we'll come to, I think we're coming to a gentle end, I think. So, yeah, these two, and yeah, please, Tracy.
My question's to you, Tracy Holmes from the Australian Radio Network and the Sports Ambassador podcast. Just following up from the Reuters question, I'm just wondering if you could explain what kind of processes are in place so that we can all feel confident that when issues like, tweets with bombs and messages appear and disappear, that athletes or officials or anybody involved from any country would be treated the same way, regardless of which country or which NOC they are from or representing?
Well, I can give you that assurance that they are, and I can give you the assurance that we're in touch with all of our NOCs and we discuss these issues. I'm not going to enter into here whether a tweet appeared, disappeared, what it was. If I did, we would spend all of our time, particularly just even on this one issue, because on both sides there are all these things appearing all the time. What I can assure you of is that we are held to account by all of our national Olympic committees, and they make sure that we play true on for all sides with all of the NOCs concerned. And we remain in constant contact with them. There's a process. We have an NOC department which its sole job is to, or not sole job, but one of their key jobs is to remain in contact and build bridges between various NOCs and to make sure that any complaints and issues are properly dealt with to the satisfaction of all the NOCs concerned. Yeah.
Bonjour, merci Franjeu. Une question pour le CIO. Anne Hidalgo a déclaré
I've got a question for the IOC. Anne Hidalgo said that the Olympic rings should stay on the Eiffel Tower after the Games. That's from the mayor of Paris. Can a city preserve or keep the rings, the Olympic rings, once the Olympic Games are over?
I think, I'll go to Christophe in a minute. It's one of the, if you like, minor reforms of Olympic agenda. And President Backus, we wanted the rings to be more present. The rings after the Sydney Olympic Games were taken down from the bridge. So we're very happy if a city or a region or a country wants to have the rings, but that is entirely, in the first place, something here for the Parisians and the mayor and so on to discuss. Do we like the rings to be seen in an Olympic city? Absolutely. Should they remain? I think that's a question for Paris and for the French people. Christophe?
Pas grand-chose à rajouter, Alain, si ce n'est que déjà c'est la première fois qu'on le demande pour la Tour Eiffel.
I don't have much to say. This is the first thing that we've had a question for the Eiffel Tower, so that's a new process. But it is a great source of pride to have the rings that can be kept in place. It is a symbol. It is a symbol of value, and it is phenomenal. we were together, and if you look at certain sites that we visited together, you saw that the rings were still in new in many places, and it is something which is a source of pride for the Olympic movement. We know that what we're leaving as a positive legacy in the different regions. And at the same time, for the regions and different areas which have the rings, it is a source of pride to have participated in this whole process. It is a symbol that will remain for centuries to come. So if you can have the rings which can be held in a symbolic venue, and this is a symbolic venue par excellence.
Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So thank you very much, and thank you to the team, thank you to Etienne and Christophe.
Merci.
Merci.